Welcome to the Real Appreciation Podcast. I am David Clair-Bennett, and today I am absolutely thrilled to be joined by one of the most famous dentists in the world. He's a New York Times bestseller. He recently released his newest teeth whitening product, Poof. He's worked with A-list celebrities from Hugh Jackman to Mark Wahlberg to America's favorite friends, Jennifer Aniston and Courtney Cox. And yes, pun is absolutely intended. But its influence goes far beyond just brightening smiles, because joining me today is on Real Appreciation is Dr. Bill Dorfman himself. Thank you so much for joining me on the show today.
Thanks for having me.
Well, that intro only begins to scratch the surface of your incredible list of accomplishments. For people who may not be familiar with what you do, can you please take this time to enlighten everyone on what you do and why people should come to you for all their dental needs?
First thing I want to say is I love the name of your podcast, In Appreciation, because, my career in dentistry has literally exceeded every expectation I ever had. And, I never in my life imagined that ChatGPT would list me as the number one most respected and well-known dentist in the world. Like it's been crazy and fun and exciting. And when I go and I lecture, and I'll be at UOP Dental School, where I graduated from next week, speaking to the entire student body. The first thing I tell students is literally my career has exceeded every expectation I ever had. And I wake up every morning with so much authentic appreciation for everything that's happened and I know is going to happen. I'm probably like the happiest person you'll ever meet. It's been phenomenal. I mean, from the kinds of patients that I get to meet to inventing the number one tooth whitening product in the world. I mean, we basically developed Zoom tooth whitening and grew it from zero with no employees to over $1.3 billion in sales, and then sold that company to Philips back in 2010. And my entire career has been this amazing roller coaster, and it just keeps getting higher and higher and higher and more and more and more exciting. And so many things have happened. I mean, probably the most exciting part for me was when ABC asked me to be the featured dentist on their hit show, Extreme Makeover. I mean, this was the birth of reality TV. And, dentistry had never been shown in the media in a very positive way. And now, for the first time ever, I'm on primetime TV every Thursday night, showing people these amazing dental transformations and how we can literally change somebody's life by giving them a smile that they're comfortable with. So it's been really fun and really exciting. And so, when you ask me, like, what has my career been? Well, yes, I'm a cosmetic dentist. I also am an inventor. I invented Zoom tooth whitening. But I'll tell you, the part of my career that I'm most proud of is the philanthropic part. And my mantra in life has always been learn so you can earn and then return. And my big return is with my LEAP Foundation. I have a program I've done for the last 18 years at UCLA. Last year we did it at USC, where we get over 400 kids from all over the world come for 1 week. It's a nonprofit. And we bring in the most amazing speakers ever. Mark Wahlberg, Anthony Hopkins, Paula Abdul, Kathy Bates, Usher, Michael Strahan, Eva Longoria. I mean, you name it. And, these students age 15 to 25 get to spend a week learning from these amazing people so that they can, as we say, copy genius, And I always say the fastest way to success is to copy genius. See somebody who's doing what you want to do, copy what they're doing, but better. And it's amazing. Every year we do LEAP. It will be this year, July 13th to the to the 20th at Pepperdine University. It'll be a first time there. If you want more information, it's www.leapfoundation.com. Anthony Hopkins has promised he'll come. He lives right by Pepperdine. I will have Lil Mosey there, who is amazing and an inspiration to everybody. Paula Abdul will be there as always. It's going to be an amazing time. So in addition to these things, I love inventing products. And I have two really cool products coming out on the market this year. And I also started becoming a manager for my daughter's music career. So there's a lot of fun stuff to talk about.
You've had this opportunity to work with such an impressive list of celebrity clients throughout your career. Are there any particularly memorable transformations or experiences with someone that stands out to you the most?
If you look at the cases I did on Extreme Makeover, on the doctors, on Oprah, I mean, these are life-changing things. I mean, when a young woman comes into my office who only has 6 teeth, a condition called anodontia, she never grew teeth. Imagine being 21 years old and having only 6 teeth in your mouth. And we did a huge transformation for Jessica on the doctors where, we placed implants in her upper and lower arches, and we did permanent bridges for her based on the implants. I mean, that's huge. Deshante came in. Here's a beautiful, beautiful young woman with a cleft lip, cleft palate. And we repaired the cleft lip, cleft palate, gave her teeth. She was missing teeth. I mean, life-changing, And for me, it's so exciting because prior to these TV shows, I shared that experience really intimately with a patient, and that was great. But when the whole world can watch this, it gives a lot of people hope. People who are watching and never thought that they could have, something so spectacular, realize that, yeah, there is hope for me. I mean, Becky had bilateral cleft lip, cleft palate. So she basically had double cleft. And, when we finished her transformation and repaired that and gave her teeth, and, she said, Doc, you don't understand. Like, for the first time in my life, I walk into a room and just feel normal.
Yeah.
How powerful is that?
Very.
So I love what I do. I mean, I've been doing dentistry for 40 years now, and I have no intention of quitting. I mean, if, God forbid I lose my vision or my hands get shaky or something, I can't do it. Obviously I won't, but until that happens, I'm doing this all the way till the end.
How rewarding does that feel to you every day you wake up?
I mean, every day I go to work, I change people's lives for the better. How many jobs can you actually say embody that? Like, I don't know any, And I make people healthier, I make them happier, and I actually make them smile.
For someone who may be listening or watching this episode right now, what is a product of yours that they may not even know that they are using that you were the inventor of?
Well, I mean, Zoom. Zoom, and Night White, Day White, Breath RX. Those are all products that we did. My newest one is super, super exciting. It's called Poof with 3 O's. Why does it have 3 O's? Guess.
I don't know.
That way I own all the social. If I spelled it with 2 O's,
Smart,
there were.
smart.
So yeah, so like Spanx, why do you think there's an X at the end, right?
Yeah.
So anyhow, Poof tooth whitening, these whitening strips dissolve on your teeth. So the tagline is stains disappear, strips disappear, and poof, your teeth are white. They are 37% more effective than the leading tooth whitening strip on the market, and they dissolve. zero sensitivity, great tasting. You put it on your teeth, it dissolves in 10 to 15 minutes, and yeah, poof, your teeth get white, and it's pretty exciting.
Poof. Amazing. I will leave a link to that in the description of this video so you can purchase Poof for yourself and see the magic happen.
Right on Amazon. Pretty easy.
Let's talk about Taylor Swift. I promise everybody, this segue is not just a result of my ADHD. But yeah, man, you were telling me the other day about how your daughter, Anna Sky, whose latest single, Loving You As Hard, is available now, has potential to be the next Taylor Swift. That is incredibly exciting. So talk to me about who she is and where people can find some of her music.
Yeah, so this is crazy. My daughter is a scientist. I mean, she graduated college. She was working in cancer research for years. She then started working in a COVID lab. And then last year in August, they closed the lab. COVID just wasn't, as prevalent, right? And she calls me up. She's like, Dad, what am I going to do? I'm like, I don't know. We'll figure it out. So we started looking for different directions for her to go in, and we decided there was an accelerated program where she could go and become an embryologist. I don't know if you know this or not, but a lot of women over the age of 30 now are freezing their eggs, and there's a real demand for embryologists, right? So she could do a 4-month intensive program and become certified as that. Well, while this was going on, we took a trip to Tennessee. My dear friend, Dr. Dennis Wells, who is kind of the Nashville equivalent of me. He treats all the big Nashville singing stars and whatnot. Lives in Tennessee. We've been best friends forever. And we had this annual water ski thing that we would do. And we just kind of got lost in it because the kids got busy and blah, blah, blah. So I talked to Anna into going with me. So we go there, and Dennis's brother, Kent Wells, produces for Dolly and Reba and all these big country acts. So he actually has a basketball gym in his backyard with a soundstage. So we're getting ready to go to the airport, and they alert us that our flight is 4 hours late. So we go back to his place, and we're doing karaoke. And I'm like, oh, Anna, get up on the stage. So my kid gets up on the stage, and I didn't even know she still played the piano. She starts playing the keyboard, and she does this Lana Del Rey song. And I'm like, oh God, this is like better than Lana, in my opinion. But I turn on my phone and I start recording it. And I actually hid my phone because I thought if she saw me doing it, she'd be like, Dad, right? And so I just had it in my phone. All right. Week later, I'm back in my office, and Kirsty, the female singer in the band Pentatonics, is in the office, and we're good friends. And what's going on? I'm like, hey, Kirsty, listen to this. So I played this little bit of Anna in the gym, and she's like, Doc, she's great. I said, yeah, I know. She goes, no, I mean, like, she should be doing this for a living. I'm like, really? She goes, yeah. So I'm like, okay. And then just after she leaves, serendipitously, Diane Warren shows up. I mean, and for those of you who don't know, Diane is probably the most famous and prolific songwriter in history, right? Her repertoire is endless. And we've become very close over the years. And so, I get her in the chair. I'm like, hey, Diane, listen to this. What do you think? She said, Doc, are you kidding? I want your daughter in my studio tomorrow. She has exactly the sound I'm looking for my new song. I'm like, oh, okay. So we get Anna on the phone, and Anna's like, yeah, okay, great. Yeah, I'll do that. We hang up. Diane looks at me and says, she is great in studio, right? I'm like, amazing. Okay, my kid's never been in a studio in her life. right? She's a scientist. So I then called Kent Wells up. I'm like, Kent, I need a great music producer in LA who can work with my daughter and prepare her to go in and record with Diane Warren. So he hooks me up with the guy, Mike, and she goes over the next day and she works with Mike for about 2 hours, goes into the studio, sings this song, and knocks the cover off the ball. And she calls me at 11 o'clock. She says, Dad, this was the greatest day of my life. I'm like, wow, that's exciting. But inside, I'm like, I want to hear what Diane thinks. So I send Diane a text. And I'm like, hey, Diane, how'd it go? She said, your daughter sang the blank out of my song. It was amazing. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then Diane's producer, AC Burrell, who's been with Diane for over 15 years, calls me up and says, hey, Doc, your daughter has everything a star needs to become a star. AC calls me and says, Doc, I'm going to make your daughter the biggest recording artist in the world. I'm like, oh, yeah, that's big. But you know what? I actually believe it now. I mean, they have 10 songs already like in the can, and they're phenomenal. My daughter put out her first song about 4 weeks ago called Loving You Is Hard. And the day it came out, we got over 200,000 views on Instagram. I mean, it's crazy and it's just taking off. She's charted. She's number 8 on the dance chart right now. She's charting to be like number 5 in the UK in the remixes. When will this podcast come out? Because on November 15th, we're going to release her second song.
Probably in the next 2 weeks.
Okay, great. So hopefully you'll listen. But it's really, really exciting. And yeah, and then the most exciting thing is Lil Mosey, who has 8 billion streaming downloads, is absolutely in love with Anna's music. And they did a collaboration, and he's rapping and she's singing, and it is amazing. And we're going to release that after the first of the year. And I honestly think she'll blow up after that because this kid is so talented, and he's got this Midas touch. Everything he touches turns to gold. So having her on an album with him, I think will just bring her to the next stratosphere. So it's super exciting. You can follow Anna on Instagram at its Anna, ANASKY. Her first song, Loving You Is Hard, is up there. And again, November 15th, we'll launch. And then yesterday, we just put out her first music video. And it's already trending really well on YouTube. And yeah, it's all super duper exciting.
Real quick, we just talked about bad breath. If only there was a way, Dr. Bill, if only there was a way we could somehow get fresh breath, perhaps in a way that kicks balls. I'm talking about Dr. Bill's upcoming caffeinated gum kick balls, which gives you a fresh breath with a kick. You'll be able to chew it and do it with flavors that pop and energy that rocks. I like that. I can tell you came up with it. Doctor, please tell the people listening some more information about this awesome new gum you have launching soon.
It's the best. Kick balls will kick balls. It's like Red Bull in a gumball, but it's sugar-free. It's actually sweetened with xylitol, so it fights tooth decay. It doesn't give you bad breath like coffee. It doesn't stain your teeth like coffee, and it's instant. Like as soon as you start chewing it, within 10 minutes or so, you actually feel the kick. You're on a long road trip, you don't want to have to pull over, find a Starbucks, pop a kickball. You're in school, you've got a boring teacher. Kickballs. You have to stay. I can't even tell you how many pots of coffee I drank as a student studying at college. I wish I had kickballs. I mean, every time I go to the gym, my pre-workout, 30 minutes before I go to the gym, kickballs. I know emphatically that I can lift almost 10% more weight when I'm caffeinated than when I'm not. And by the way, dude, I just got the cover of Men's Health.
Oh yeah, that's amazing, man. Congrats. Before we get out of here, this show is so big on gratitude and appreciation, as we talked about earlier. Every day when I wake up and before I go to bed, I tell myself 3 things that I'm grateful for. But now, I want to ask you, what are 3 things in your life you're grateful for right now?
I've got 3 beautiful daughters who I love beyond. I'm very, very grateful for them. I'm very fortunate that my folks are still alive, and my parents have been nothing but loving and supportive my entire life, and I'm very grateful for them, and all my other friends and family. I mean, everything else in your life doesn't really matter. It's the people in your life. So I guess for me, it's really being grateful for everybody who's been in my life and has touched my life in so many ways.
Amazing.
And even you, dude, I'm grateful for you.
I'm grateful for you. Thank you. Thank you for coming on the show. I'm so grateful for that. I'm grateful that we're both here alive doing what we love to do.
I agree.
I will leave a link to all of Bill's products in the description to this video, as well as Honest Guy's newest single, Loving You Is Hard. And what's the new song coming out in November?
It's called Sleeping Without You.
Sleeping Without You. I'm going to tell it's going to be an amazing song. Thank you again for your time, Bill. And please go ahead and subscribe to this channel, as it helps us grow more than you know. I'm David Clair-Bennett, and you've been watching Real Appreciation. I'll see you guys next week with a brand new episode.